In the dry heat of the day, in the rugged hills of Samaria, Jesus and his disciples make their way to a small town named Sychar. Weary from the journey, Jesus stops at Jacob's well, a place steeped in history, where countless people before him have drawn water to quench their thirst. But today, this well would offer more than physical relief. Here, an encounter would unfold, a meeting that would reveal the depths of human struggle and the unyielding reach of divine love. A woman approaches, carrying an empty water jar. It's unusual to see someone coming to the well at this hour. Most avoid the midday heat. She keeps her gaze low, moving quickly, as though burdened by an invisible weight. She's a Samaritan, an outsider to the Jewish people. And today, she is alone. Unbeknownst to her, the man she is about to meet is also an outsider, one who breaks down boundaries instead of building them. One who sees her, truly sees her. As she nears the well, Jesus speaks.
"Will you give me a drink?"
He asks. The woman freezes, taken aback. It's unheard of. Jews don't associate with Samaritans, and certainly not women of her standing. She questions him, unsure if she's heard correctly.
"How is it that you, a Jew, ask me, a Samaritan woman, for a drink?"
Her tone carries surprise, but also a hint of suspicion. Yet there's something about this stranger that keeps her rooted in place. Jesus looks at her, his expression kind but intense. He tells her,
"If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water."
Confused, she glances at the well and her empty jar.
"Sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water?"
Her skepticism is apparent, but so is her curiosity. What is this living water he speaks of? With patience, Jesus explains. He tells her that whoever drinks from this well will thirst again, but whoever drinks the water he gives will never thirst. A wellspring of eternal life, he says, bubbling up within them. The woman's expression changes. She's listening closely now, feeling the weight of his words. Here is a man who seems to know something deeper, something that touches her spirit. Jesus continues, gently revealing things about her life, things only she knew. He speaks of her past, her 5 husbands, and the current relationship she hides. Her face falls, and the weight of secrecy, the isolation she's carried for so long, surfaces. Stunned, she says,
"I can see that you are a prophet."
This stranger sees her fully, knows her pain, and still speaks to her with dignity and respect. The conversation shifts to worship. She speaks of the conflict between her people and the Jews, of where one ought to worship. And Jesus responds with words that cut through centuries of division.
"A time is coming, and has now come, when true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth."
In that moment, the walls of tradition and prejudice fade. Here, at a simple well, in an everyday moment, he reveals the heart of God to her. The woman's eyes widen, her heart racing as she pieces it together.
"I know that Messiah, the Christ, is coming,"
she says, her voice barely a whisper. And then, with a calm authority, he answers,
"I, the one speaking to you, I am he."
For the first time in her life, she is seen, forgiven, and called to something greater. The Messiah has met her, not in a temple, not surrounded by crowds, but here, alone, at a well. Leaving her jar behind, she runs back to the town. Her shame forgotten, she tells everyone,
"Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could this be the Messiah?"
Her testimony, simple and true, spreads quickly. Many come to see him, to hear him. This woman, once marginalized and silent, becomes a voice that calls her community to encounter the truth. Through a single act of kindness, through words that cut to the heart, Jesus brought light to one woman's life. And through her, an entire town felt the touch of grace. This story, recorded in the Gospel of John, isn't just about the past, it's about today. It's a reminder that, no matter where we come from or what we carry, we are invited to drink deeply of a love that never runs dry. Thank you for joining us as we explored the story of the woman at the well. Her encounter with Jesus still speaks across centuries, offering hope, healing, and the courage to seek what truly satisfies. If this story touched you, we invite you to share, subscribe, and join us for more stories of faith and transformation.